This video is about Kabbalah and the role of technology. We have this ancient wisdom called Kabbalah, which is the secrets of creation according to Jewish thought, Jewish tradition. And you have something very modern called technological advancement. And so how do we make sense of it, and how do we see where all these advances in technology, where this is going? So the first lesson is that technology is helpful as long as it's building something, as long as it's building the world, as long as it's helping us to fulfill our potential in this world, our God-given potential. Right? Our soul came down to a body for a specific mission and purpose. So is technology living up to its hype? Is it helping us to fulfill our mission and purpose, or the opposite? So the first inventor, the famous inventor in the Torah, in the Bible, is Noah. Noah invented the plow. And what did he do with his plow? So after the flood, we know what he did with the plow. He planted a vineyard. But then he harvested the vineyard and he got drunk. So sometimes we can be drunk on technology, can be addicted to technology. We could be doom scrolling. And it comes from seeing the world and saying, no thank you. I don't know what to do with you. I don't know what to do with the world. And so we use technology as an escape, as a distraction. But for instance, like right now, sharing a Torah video, that can be a very good thing. That's the best thing. The best use of technology is to spread Torah, to spread the awareness of Torah, the awareness of God in the world. The fact that I can sit here and someone else on the opposite side of the world can see this video, it's a wonderful thing. It's a very exciting thing. But we have to make sure that it's building reality, not the opposite. We have to make sure that it's connecting people and connecting everyone to the awareness of God, the oneness of creation, and not the opposite, not leading to distractions and who knows what, to be distracted by the buzzing and the beeps. We have to have it be that it's helpful. So there's a very good example for how to see technology and how to relate it to our experience in the here and now. And that example is Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin first came out, the very famous story of, you had these two people that knew about Bitcoin long before a lot of other people knew about Bitcoin. And you have this very famous first known transaction where one person said, I'm hungry, could use some pizza right about now. And for the small amount of 10,000 Bitcoin, he was able to get 2 pizzas delivered to him by someone else. So aside from being a very fun story, 10,000 Bitcoin, how much is that worth today? Probably a little bit more than 2 pizzas. It's a story that talks a lot about the role of technology and how we approach technology and a correct way to view technology. So Bitcoin is a very, very good example. When you talk about technology, what are you looking for? Something that's disruptive. Something that is changing everything. So if some new technology, it's going to change everything, like AI, right? It's going to change everything. The whole world's going to be different. But as we said, what change are we looking for? We're not looking for a world where everyone's addicted to their phones. That's not a good change. What change are we looking for? That's the question. So it's not a question of whether technology is changing things, okay, but is it changing things for the better? That's the question. Is it building reality? Is it building my ability to fulfill myself in this world? My ability to fulfill my potential in this world? So in this first transaction, first of all, a transaction is two people that are meeting up, even on some type of a message group. They're meeting up. So one of the promises, especially in the 90s, with the advent of social media, is that you're going to have all these friends, and you're going to have all these interactions with all these different people in the world. And you're going to be able to keep up with everyone, all these friends and family, and see what they're doing, see what they're up to. So, as we know now, a lot of that is hype. There's some truth to it, but a lot of that is hype. Meaning what? Meaning that a lot of times when we go on social media, it's just a distraction. We're not doing it for the sake of building real friendships. We're doing it for the sake of maybe following influencers, following celebrities. It's a virtual type of relationship that doesn't necessarily translate to something that's real. So too, when we think of currency, and this is kind of the contemplation today, when we think of minting a coin, for instance, so historically this was done by governments or by kings. It actually says of Abraham and Sarah, the first Jewish couple, that they minted a coin. And what does it mean to mint a coin? So back then, it meant that you could trust that it was the correct weight, first of all. That there was intrinsic value to the coin, like it was a silver coin. So its intrinsic value was the weight of that coin. So if it was stamped by a certain person, then if you trusted that person, then you trusted the weight of the coin. But for that person, like from Abraham, to mint a coin, he's trying to promote something, right? That's what a government or kingdom does by minting currency, by issuing currency, is they're promoting their government or promoting their kingdom. So, but what was Abraham's whole desire in life? Is to promote the awareness of God, the oneness of God. So it's another example of how in his life he sought to integrate faith into practice. It's called bitachon, which translates as trust or confidence in God. That he's pursuing actions, he's actively involved in things that are with the hope of spreading the awareness of God. It's like a person who puts a plan together. It's one thing to have a belief, to have faith. It's another thing to put it into action. So that's what Abraham sought to do throughout his life, to put his faith into action. So one of that was setting up a tent in a main thoroughfare to teach people about God. It was a great hotel in the desert, and Abraham taught the men, and his wife Sarah taught the women about God, about the oneness of God, about monotheism. And so too, a currency. When we talk about currency, a currency is bringing people together under some type of an auspice, under a certain type of umbrella. So what was Bitcoin originally seeking to do? To disrupt all that. To have some currency that is outside the issuance of any specific government agency. And a lot of that is in response to the fact that we don't always, or most times, trust governments, trust that politicians have our best interests at heart. We don't necessarily think that they always care about us, unlike Abraham, who did care about people and did try to educate, because he believed in his mission, which was 100%. He was authentic. If he said something, that means he felt it. That means it was in his heart. So he was a leader, but also a completely authentic individual. But today, a lot of times people don't see that. And so you have governments run by maybe politicians that, you wonder if they have your best interests at heart. And so initially, when we talk about technology, about being disruptive, a disruptive currency is saying, well, can we have something that's outside of the auspices of government control, outside of something that's issued by a specific government? And so you have Bitcoin. But we said technology needs to build something. And so are you going to stay in the virtual world? So in the 90s and 2000s, with social media, we started to realize that I actually do want to have real world friends and interactions. And so what you're seeing today, this is like a recent thing, is people that are getting dumb phones or going on fasts, not going on the internet, deleting apps, because they realize this. People are waking up, or especially the young generation is saying, I want real world interactions. I want to see the world. I want to have real friends. And you have many articles are coming out about this, about a response to not wanting to remain in a virtual world, to have real friends, real interactions. And so if you look to this first big story about Bitcoin, it was two people interacting. It was a transaction. Like that's what Abraham was trying to do. He was trying to bring people together under the auspices of having people being reminded about Abraham and what he stood for, which was a teacher, someone who was a leader and teaching people about the oneness of God. So anyone who used that currency would be reminded of that. Or they would ask, hey, who's this person on the coin? Who's this couple? It was actually an older couple and a younger couple. Two sides. That's the thing that the Bitcoin doesn't have, right? You have a coin, you have to have two sides. So it's like bringing people together. It's making a shidduch, making a connection between people. So in Abraham's coin, you had that. You had a husband and wife, both an older couple and a younger couple. So that's what we need. That's what we're asking ourselves, right? We're saying, like, technology is great and wonderful and it can do a lot of things, but I need to make sure that I'm living life. I need to make sure that I'm not lost in some virtual hemisphere, that I'm actually coming down to earth, that I'm actually interacting with the real world. Especially now that AI can simulate all sorts of things in the virtual world, videos and music and all types of things. Where that need to actually immerse oneself in the actual world has become much more prevalent, much more sought after. People are realizing that that's really what it comes down to, ultimately, is that technology is great for certain things, but ultimately I need to turn it off and to interact with the real world. So then what would we say about Bitcoin, for instance? What would we say? Is that what is the end game? What is the goal? So if the response was a disruptive virtual currency because we don't trust governments, so the response is, well, maybe eventually there'll be a leader that we can trust who will issue currency, and then we could use that actual currency. We won't have to resort to a virtual currency. We'll turn off our virtual currency in whatever capacity that means, and use actual coins that we can trust the issuer. We'll feel good about it. We'll feel like this has real intrinsic value. And so this is, like it says of Mashiach, of the Redeemer. Like any king wants to, like we said, wants to issue a currency. So too, Mashiach, that's like a good thought to have in mind, is that the end game of something virtual and disruptive, like the technology and the commerce around the Bitcoin, is something that is tangible, something that I can hold in my hands, but something I can trust. Something that I know is what it is, has the value that it says it has. So what does this all mean? Is that in terms of how to view technology, what does Kabbalah say about how to view technology? So on the one hand, there's very good aspects to it. The original repercussion of the original sin of Adam and Eve was that man needs to work now by the sweat of his brow. Has to work very hard to make a living. Well, with the Industrial Revolution, especially, and exponentially, as the years go on, as the months go on, as the weeks go on, as technology exponentially just skyrockets in terms of the advancements, it could very well be that we no longer need to work so hard. But what's the end game? What is that for? So Maimonides, the Rambam, says that the occupation of the entire world in the future, which is now we're experiencing today, we're waking up to that reality today. In the future, our occupation will be solely to know God. Meaning, all the physical stuff, all that we need physically will be taken care of, but the main occupation will be that which AI and technology can't do, which is to know God, which is to teach and to have real interactions with people, to have a study partner, to learn Torah together. That you can research using AI. You can even research Torah using AI. But a study partner is something completely different. The fifth Lubavitcher Rebbe said that when you have two Jews studying Torah, it's two godly souls against one animal soul. Meaning that a godly soul is something that cares about someone else. It's our divine spark. But an animal cares about, what does an animal care about? Self-preservation. So it's that part of us that cares about another person, that wants to help another person, that wants to go out of our comfort zone and to help and to guide and to all these things that we think in terms of what a hero does. A hero is a person that goes out and helps somebody, that goes out and guides somebody. You know, they're in a burning building, right? It's a 5-alarm fire. So the hero rushes in and takes the person out. So all of those, all of that which is outward focused on other people, that technology can enhance, but it can't replace. Technology can't be your study partner. Technology can't be your ultimately your teacher or your student. So there's, you know, if you want to build reality, to say it quickly, if you want to build reality, become a teacher, a Torah teacher, and have students. Because that's going to be the main focus of all of this, of all that you're seeing right now. So, the question is, how do you build reality? If you know Aleph, as the Lubavitcher Rebbe said, you teach Aleph. If you know something, share it with others. Teach, especially in terms of Torah knowledge, which is divine wisdom. So, thank you very much.